I went to the Chatgpt and I asked, tell me some of the most difficult questions that can come in a behavioral interview. And the moment I clicked on the search button, the first question that comes on the top is, tell me about a time when you failed completely. What did you do about it? What did you learn from it? Well, friends, welcome to the era of AI. And as we can see that a lot of us are using it on a day-to-day basis. So if you are preparing your answers only depending on the responses that the AI is giving you, no doubt they are wonderful answers. But if you do not know how to articulate those answers and connect it with your experiences, with your strengths and your belief system, you would fail miserably. Because don't forget, the person sitting on the other side might also be using ChatGPT in searching some of the best questions, and they know very well if the answers are scripted. Therefore, I always say that connect to your situation, connect to your context, connect to your experience before answering a question. So let's take this one question which came out on the top. Tell me a time when you failed miserably. First of all, let's understand that why this question is coming on the top and why it is among one of the difficult questions. Well, the simple answer is that when somebody is asked a question which is in a negative form, like a failure or like a area where you could not do well, it basically generates emotions. And these emotions are shown through your non-verbal body language. Some people might become stressed, some people might show anxiety, and some people even can reflect anger in their face. Now, when this question is asked, the interviewer basically wants to understand how have been your decision making habits, how have you handled stress, how have you tried different things and you failed, and did you bounce back in your work area in those particular situations which were very tough and very demanding. Now, having said this, when a question like this comes, first, I would like you to go through your resume. Look at some of the areas that you have done very well. Now, you must be wondering that if I have to answer something, why should I look into my success areas when somebody is asking about my failures? Well, friends, my way of thinking is that whatever is mentioned on your resume, and particularly when you are highlighting your success parts, let's say you achieved a very difficult task, you were nominated for the MD Circle of Excellence Award, or you were promoted on, none of this success would have come without hard work, without intelligence, and without patience. Now think of the time when you achieved it. Did you achieve it in the first go, or did you try it a couple of times, you failed, and only then you achieved it? Think about it. Just go into your resume and look at it. So let's take one example. So let's say that you were nominated as the Employee of the Year for 2025. Now this must be your significant achievement. Now how do we correlate it to your biggest failure? Now think about a situation when you started attempting to achieve the most important goals for your job and for your key result areas. You might have failed initially. So you can put an example something like this. When I joined this organization, in the first year, the task was very complex. The goals were surmounting. They were like unachievable. It was very difficult for all of us. I tried my best. I gave my best in whatever I could in making those difficult tasks into simple tasks, and that's how I started step by step. And in the first year, I was a miserable failure. I could not reach my objectives. I was short of my targets. My boss was complaining and telling my superiors that why even I was hired, though I had put in a lot of effort. I was completely broken. I was completely shaken. My beliefs were becoming shaky. But then I sat down one day, and it was the end of the year when one of my senior colleagues came to me and he gave me a very important message that you can always bounce back. He instilled the confidence in me. He believed in me and he gave me a message that come what may, he is there to support me next year in making the business plan, in ensuring that those goals will be achieved. And from that moment on, I gave my 100%, but this time I was very focused on what are the areas that I did not do well. So for example, I did not do very well customer segmentation, or maybe in my accounting role or in my finance role, I was not giving too much attention to detail. Whatever your role is, you can correlate it accordingly. I started working on it very diligently in my first quarter, and I started making the plans which are going to work in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months. Carrying on from my last year, my first quarter also did not go well. But this time, I knew that the plan is in place. There is something which is happening. And subsequently, with my effort, with my hard work, with my intelligence, with the guidance, with the support of my managers, my superiors, my peers, and my teammates, in the first half, that means in the first 6 months, I superseded my targets. I was so well ahead of my objectives that there was no one who could beat me. And whatever negativity was there in the past, it just got vanished. My perception of people about me started to change. And a lot of people came to me for help, that how did I achieve such a difficult and a complex task which others were taking so much of time and still were not successful. These are some of the steps that I took, and I just turned around the situation, and I learned from my failure of last year that how am I going to achieve bigger goals. And that's how when I ended the year, I was very high on my budgets. I was rewarded, awarded, and nominated for the Employee of the Year award. Now, do you see that when I answered this question, how did I articulate it? First, the situation, that is the STAR method. Then what was the task? What action did I do? And what was the outcome, which is the result? So any behavioral question can be attempted and answered something like this. But let me remind you, if you go to Chatgpt and if you just mug up the answers and if you articulate that just like that, the person sitting on the other side is much ahead and much smarter than you, and they will not accept it. So until unless you are very much in deep with your work, with your experience, with the kind of challenges that you face, how did you achieve those big numbers or your goals, if you are not clear about it, you will still struggle no matter what Chatgpt can give you. So today we took just one question. I'm going to add another few questions in the coming weeks. So don't go anywhere. And if you like this content, if you really enjoyed this talk that I just gave, do share your comment. I'll wait for that. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching me.